Hi, my name is Ife and welcome to Microgreens. First, I want to thank Just Alex for inspiring me to grow microgreens as well as to document my creative processes. Check him out for some actual good content. So what exactly are microgreens? Well, microgreens are essentially baby plants that are harvested once they grow their first set of true leaves. Microgreens are quite the craze right now as they pack a lot of flavor, are highly nutritious, and are very popular as garnishes. While I was at it, I decided to document my entire process in an attempt to improve my video editing, my cinematography, as well as my filmmaking. I also thought it'd be pretty cool to sort of record how much money I either made or lost from this whole microgreens project, and so would I actually break even, or would I incur a net loss, or even a net gain? Well, let's find out. Enjoy the video. Oh, wait, before you go. Quick disclaimer, I know absolutely nothing about microgreens, about gardening, or horticulture, or just growing plants in general, so bear with me if I make any mistakes. Also, don't take what I say as complete fact, it's just sort of based off of what I've researched through the internet. Microgreens can be sorted into two categories, small seeds and large seeds. Now, large seeds are usually soaked before sowing, I would say anywhere between 6 to 12 hours, and this is because it helps to jumpstart the germination of the seed. I honestly don't really know what that means, but all I know is that it helps the seed grow faster and grow better, so that is what I did with my pea seeds. Now that I'm done preparing the growing beds, it's time to sow the seeds. There are two principles you want to follow when you're sowing your microgreen seeds. The first one is to sow your seeds quite densely, which I've done a good job at, and the second one is to sow them evenly, which I didn't do quite as good of a job at. To water my plants, I will be using a spray bottle. Now you want to keep the soil or the growing medium quite damp for microgreens, however you don't want to overwater and soak the soil, and you don't want to underwater and basically dry out your plants. After watering my microgreens for the first time, I will take an identical tray and put it over top of the seeds. Having this tray covering the seeds will help to firstly compress the growing medium along with the seeds, but it will also help to keep the moisture in and keep the microgreens damp. We'll check back in on the microgreens in a few days. Now that the microgreens have sprouted, I will be placing them underneath the sun and watering them every single day until they are ready to be harvested. After 9 full days of waiting and watering, My first batch of radishes are finally ready to harvest, since they've started to grow their second set of leaves, which are also called true leaves in the microgreen world. True leaves are the indicator for most species of microgreens. However, for certain varieties, you have to look at other factors and indicators to determine whether or not they're ready to harvest. We will actually see this later on in the video. The broccoli definitely grew slower than the radish, with only a few of the tallest sprouts being ready to harvest by day 13. After harvesting all the radishes as well as broccoli, all that was left for me to do was wait for my pea shoots to grow and mature. Now, pea shoots were meant to be harvested within around 14 to 20 days after the seeds are sown. However, for whatever reason, my peas just refused to grow. I have a few theories regarding why this is. One is that I assume that because the seeds weren't really compressed by any heavy weights, they weren't able to grow as well. Another theory I had was that I might have been underwatering the plants, which would definitely inhibit their growth. And so after 26 days of growing, watering, and waiting, I can finally call this microgreens project complete as I harvested all of my pea shoots. Peas were definitely my most successful crop, with around 53 grams of produce being grown. Now this doesn't really come to too much of a surprise, as pea shoots are pretty big individually, and that makes sense given how long it actually took to grow them. Unfortunately, the actual cooking clip got corrupted, but I'll leave you with some of the other dishes that I've incorporated my microgreens in. And so, the final question remains. Was this project a success? Did I make any money from it, or was it a financial failure? Before I reveal just how much money I made or lost through growing microgreens, I just want to say, keep in mind there was a pretty big upfront investment for this project. I spent nearly $10 just on the growing medium itself, and so just keep that in mind when you look at how much money I made through growing these microgreens. And so, the final question remains. Just how much money did I make or lose growing these microgreens? Well, the numbers are in, and I made negative $11.41. Yeah, this kind of was a financial failure, but there's always another side to the same story. And so while I did lose money growing these microgreens, I learned a lot more about plants as well as vegetables, managed to improve my cinematography and video editing skills, and of course, made a video that I can be proud of. The amount of stupid robins that keep chirping and like planes that keep flying above my head. And I think one of my neighbors turned on their lawnmower throughout this thing, so that was so painful to record. Oh my goodness.